What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Stocks to Watch. And the market played out exactly how we planned. So, yesterday's video, we spoke about how we expect Bank Nifty and Nifty to kind of drop a little, towards the downside in the first half, maybe the first 1 hour. We expected like a 100-point dip in Nifty, another 400-point dip in Bank Nifty, and then we were preparing to go long. And that's exactly how it played out, and that is exactly what I traded today. Do I think the correction is over and the market is going to make a new all-time high? I don't think so. I think what the market's likely to do is maybe we could go a little lower over here, maybe a 100-point correction on the index level, maybe a 100-point fall, and then we start moving towards these areas of supply. Like that's the next 2 weeks of action or next 2 weeks of action that I think could happen. Let's talk about Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty is a little shy of its area of demand over here, literally 200 points, 400 points, sorry. So around 300, 400 points, maybe a percent, Bank Nifty could probably dip and then bounce. So now you can see, this is my verified PNL. I'll just do a refresh. I'll do a refresh again. So I made about 58,000 rupees today. I did short Bank Nifty to capture the move that I spoke about yesterday. And then I did do a reverse position by going long on Nifty calls. In the community, we even traded HDFC Bank, which we discussed yesterday. So all in all, the entire day was kind of, something that was perfect, setting up really, really nicely. So I'll just give you a quick breakdown of the trades. But before I do that, I will quickly first tell you what exactly did the market do today. So this is the heat map of the market, and now what you can see is stocks did bounce from their lows, and especially in mid caps, I think we saw a lot of action. Now, if you look at the overall perspective, like if I show you the losers, right? So there were only like a bunch of names which had news. So I think Tata Motors had earnings, Zomato had earnings, Bank of India, and some PSU banks. And I think I spoke to you about this as well, that PSU banks are going to be slightly on the weaker side. But if I just look about and talk about the stocks that did really well, I think it was across the board. ABB India up 11%, Hindustan Zinc up 10%, Siemens up 7%, BAL 3%. Divi's Labs of Pharma, real estate, every single thing was doing well. So just look at Pharma, right? 4.5%, and it was like a very, very good day. Now, coming back to what the markets did and what our game plan was, let's quickly try to understand what exactly was our game plan and how did we execute that. So I'll go to the watch list on 13th of May. And this is the watch list that we had. So ABB, we discussed this, that, we are expecting some good action in this. AB Capital reacting from that area. We spoke about IT, and I was telling you that I was singing songs about IT. And I think even in today's episode, you will see towards the end of the episode that IT is set to roar. Now, if you are new to this channel or if you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, because it really motivates us to bring more such content, more such value to all of you to improve your trading. Now, Escorts, again, one of the names from the watch list. This is a disclaimer. We currently have an open position in Discord, in our Discord server. I will talk about that. HDFC Bank, we spoke about this really, really nice area of demand. I will show you a snippet of what we were talking about in HDFC Bank. And now you heard it, right? We were planning this trade. HDFC Bank did really well. Manyavar, again, setting up. I think this is ready to break out. Persistent, IDFC First Bank. Disclaimer, I have a position. This is not a financial recommendation or advice. Please do your own due diligence. And again, the other names like Rolex rings, etc. So I think the market's pretty much set up. Now, I'll quickly go to the index and, just talk to you about what exactly was my plan of action for the day. So as I said, I was expecting this fall to happen in Bank Nifty, right? This is the start of the day, right? The market opened, we had a dump, I captured this move. It was like plain vanilla simple setup, right? I was waiting, the market's going to come into this area of demand, it's going to start spiking up. This is exactly the place where I saw what Bank Nifty is doing, HDFC Bank is doing. And I realized that HDFC Bank was actually doing this. So let me show you what I saw in HDFC Bank. And now I'm going to take you to Discord. So you can see 10:44 a.m. HDFC Bank long position, because I started seeing it hover over the VWAP. Liquidity swept away. We went long, and in a matter of few minutes, this is what HDFC Bank did. We got our move. And as far as, Nifty call options are concerned, again, the timing was very, very similar. 10:53 a.m., 10 minutes after we took the HDFC entry, Went long at 139. This was the chart. Easily saw liquidity swept away. And then what we saw was massive action in Nifty. Now, the calls went up all the way to 300, but obviously you can't really catch everything, but that is exactly the move that we captured. Now, coming back to what's going to be the game plan for tomorrow, so I'll just quickly start off with Bank Nifty first. Now, Bank Nifty is now currently trading at an area which I don't really like. Now, the reason for that is I know that we are bullish now and my bias is bullish. And now what I'm going to be planning to do is I like this area of demand, and I think on a smaller time frame, maybe on the 5-minute, I'm going to start looking at areas where I could see some activity. So I'm going to wait for Bank Nifty to probably sweep this, right? There's liquidity above this. It might sweep this. If Bank Nifty does this, I'm going to be interested to probably go short over here, maybe around this area, because I can see some supply. Otherwise, because I can see this like large lumps of supply over here. So if that happens, I'm going to probably be interested to go short, or I will not even touch Bank Nifty. I would rather try to go long on other setups. But what if Bank Nifty doesn't go up? It rather sweeps liquidity like this, and then it tries to come back lower like this. That is exactly what I want to see. If this happens, let Bank Nifty come here. We're again going to buy call options, or maybe futures, or maybe we go long on individual specific banks. The game plan is set. Now, if I talk about Nifty, Nifty again, Reliance did not, towards the end it did recover, but Nifty's game plan was also fairly simple, right? We were talking about, and I think we discussed this area of demand multiple times. We were, constantly monitoring this. Nifty comes in over here, does a liquidity sweep on the lower time frame. I realize this, I go long, and perfect trade. Now, again, for Nifty, this is exactly the place I'm going to look to again reaccumulate my position on the long side. Fairly simple idea. If it starts going higher, I'm not going to interact with the index. I am only going to go long on the index, or maybe go short if I see maybe some supply over here, which Nifty starts to react from. Now, remember, I'm going to go high size with the calls, and I'm going to go with low size if the market is going to probably come down. The reason for that is going to be delivered to you. I'm going to be showing that to you in the watch list that I have, because you will see that tomorrow IT is ready to roar. Majority of IT names are setting up for a good comeback, and I think there is a lot of action, a lot of money to be made if done correctly. So without further ado, let's quickly get started. So first things first, let's talk about Coforge. Now, Coforge sitting at a weekly area of demand, very nice area, created the last impulse, trading over here. I think this is ready to move. All the negative news, earnings degrowth, earnings commentary, everything, I think it's factored in. And the first move that Coforge is probably going to give is this gap fill. And please keep an eye on this. I think this is going to fill the gap really nicely. Next up, we've got Cera Sanitary Ware. This is another mid-cap name, coming near this area of demand. I really like it. I see the liquidity sweep inside this big order block. Now, I'll just zoom out to kind of show you what the real picture is. Stock comes over here. I think this is a good play. And with earnings, announced today, and the earnings were really good, I think there should be some solid action over here. Next up is GNFC. Now, after liquidity sweep, comes back over here. This is like textbook stuff. Comes into the order block. I'm interested. I mean, I'm going to be a buyer. L&T, Larsen & Toubro. Now, what it has done, it has tried to fill this gap. I would have loved if this gap was filled, but unfortunately, the gap isn't really filled yet at the moment. So again, there is a liquidity sweep. I think with elections coming in, infra theme is obviously something that's going to do well. Now, ABB, Thermax, both of them outstanding results. BHAL is also doing well. L&T is in the same industry group. I think there's a lot of action, pending in LT. IDFC First Bank, I think we discussed this stock as well. I think 2 days back, and I think even yesterday, I currently have a position in this stock. That's a disclaimer. So please do your own due diligence. I think there's going to be a bummer. I think on the daily time frame, I think I'm going to hold it probably for 3, 4, 5 days. Lots of room to move. Next up, Persistent, another IT name. All the liquidity sweeps happening, comes into like a solid area of demand. So let me just show this to you, right? Comes into this very, solid area of demand. I think everything is perfectly set up for this to start moving higher. So again, Coforge, Persistent, setting up. Next, I'll just directly jump on to another IT name, which is LTTS, L&T Technology Services, into a very important area of demand. And now, if we are just talking about IT, let's go to HCL Tech, which I spoke about yesterday. This is also trading at a very important area of demand. So I think IT is probably set for a lot of move. Next up, we've got IDFC. Now, IDFC, again, very similar structure. I don't really like this much. I prefer IDFC First Bank rather than IDFC. Reason is very simple. There is a lot of room for it to move on the lower side, so I'm not really taking a chance on this one. Next up, we've got Berger Paints. Again, this is a reversal play. Stock comes in over here into this very, very important area of demand. I think 2 days of consecutive action. Earnings announcement day after tomorrow, but I think Asian Paints did a comeback today. Berger Paints did a comeback today. I think it's really interesting. LTTS we've discussed. Now, L&T Finance, again, very simple stuff. Creating a lower time frame order block, comes back in over here. And the best part is the stock recovers, I think, 5% from the day low. Very, very interesting stuff. PVR Inox. I think I did attempt PVR Inox over here. It got faked out. I was not really expecting this fake out to happen over here, but it did happen. Now the stock comes back into this area of demand. I think there would be some solid action over here. And now with earnings being announced today, I think, I didn't really check the earnings on what the earnings were like, but I think if they do give a good quarter, I think the stock is going to move very fast. Indian Hotels, another interesting name, setting up really, really nicely for a swing trade. Very, very nice area, very, very nice location. I'm going to see on how this plays out. GMR Infra, another name setting up really nicely with this area of demand. I like it. Rain Industries, I think I spoke to you about Rain Industries, I think a month back when the stock was trading, I think somewhere here. And, a lot of you did capture this move. Rain Industries comes back to the same area. Yes, this has been tested multiple times, but I still think there could be some action in this one. Jindal Worldwide, another name. I think we discussed this stock as well. Stock moving really nicely. This base could be broken out to maybe give a bigger move. SPL Petro not really ready yet. Balu Forge, now new IPO name, IPO based setup. I think this is setting up to explode. Look at the volume expansion that's happening. If I go to a lower time frame, I think it's creating like a nice little VCP over here. So I think this is like a nice structure for it to kind of explode. So I think if you are a cash market trader, I think Balu Forge is just insane. Next up, we've got Moil. Right now, again, a disclaimer, we're already long on Moil, and I think there could be some action. There is some overhead supply over the top, but I think with what the markets have tried to do and with metals, I think this could be interesting. Adani Enterprises, again, the big Adani group name coming into this important area of demand. This is not my first priority name, but still fine. Jyoti CNC, narrow range contraction, again decent. Alchem Labs making a base. We've seen what Auro Pharma has done. We've seen what Lupin has done. We've seen what Dr. Reddy's has done. We've seen what Metropolis has done. We've seen what a lot of these pharma companies has done. So I think that's crazy. Engineers India, we spoke about this again 4 days or 5 days back when we were trading here. Stock from that day is up about 6% and 4.5% respectively. Again, I still feel there could be some continuity in this one. Manyavar, I think I've spoken to you about this multiple times. This base is one of the best bases that you will find, at least for a positional trade. Anant Raj, again, narrow range consolidation over here, ready to move higher, volumes kind of starting to kick in. I think this would be an interesting name to watch out for. Next up, we've got Havells right now. Havells is again setting up nice tight little base, volume dry up. We've seen electronic companies do really well. This is coming out of a very big base and like a mini base over here. So I think Havells has got all the right ingredients to kind of explode. Zensar Technologies, again, similar action. We can see that the markets, have kind of, this stock has kind of been forming a base. And I think this is another launch pad for this name. It's going to be a little tricky to trade this one, but this is decent. JSW Energy, again, reacting from this area of demand. NIIT, so I think we've got Techno Electric, again, creating like a decent base. NIIT Learning Systems, very, very nice location. I think from a positional perspective, this looks good. The stock has been basing. I think it's decent. Rolex Rings, we have already we've already covered that. Sun TV already setting up. Balakrishna, again, this narrowing, this tightening is just increasing over and over again. I think there's going to be a big move coming in. Manappuram Finance, after a big gap down, stock is trying to recover. Not my favorite name. Next up is we've got Jain Irrigation, nice little base breakout candidate. And then we've got Crompton, which is probably sitting deep into like a smaller time frame order block. But I think everything is fine. Now, just to give you an overview, I think there are some private banks which are looking decent. I think there are a few fertilizer companies that are looking decent. IT is definitely good. And I think overall, bulls are probably trying to make a comeback. But don't be over bullish on the market. I think all of this, what I'm talking about, is like a 2-3 day, maybe could last until this week, but I still expect a lot of volatility. So please do take care about the positions that you are creating. So that's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment. Do drop a comment. It increases the algorithm's ability to kind of redistribute content, and that really helps. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care, bye-bye, and good night.